Hello SP24 speaker, welcome to our SP24 live speaker training video. My name is Paul Gallagher and I'm one of the SP24 team and just wanted to give you a brief overview of what we think you'll need to know to deliver a great live session at the SP24 conference. We thought it might be useful to give you a better understanding of the technology we're using at SP24. Some of the prerequisites you're going to make use of this technology. We're going to give you a few tips to get the most out of your online session on Google Hangouts on Air. And we're going to show you how to set up a test Hangout so that you can get to grips with Hangouts before the big day if you're new to this technology. And I'll also cover some of the logistical information about when you need to join your producer and anchor in your SP24 session. Okay, so technology. Of course, the site runs on SharePoint 2013. We're actually running on Foundation. The kit we're running on is kindly provided by fpweb.net. We're using Realinks Extradium for the add-on for the registration and user management side of things. We're also using Collaborate's DocRead product, and that's what's been chasing you for your required reading and speaker tasks over the last few weeks and months. So let's have a quick sneak peek at our session room. This is where everyone will view your session and interact with other delegates. As you can see, obviously the center of the whole piece is the video player, where your session will be streamed from your Google Hangout live to the world. And at the moment we're quickly closing in on 5,000 registrations, so hopefully it should be quite a good audience for your session. You can see there's some tabbed areas where your session synopsis is on there, information about you, the speaker. There's information about the anchor who will present you to the audience, as well as some session documents that you can put up there ahead of time if there's particular reading that you want the people that come to see that pre-register for your session. You can let them know about that, and you can also send them information about reading and tasks afterwards, and also you can even build a survey or a quiz if you'd like to send that on to the delegates that watch your session afterwards. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. We'll briefly hand over to Helen Jones to describe the session information via DocRead.
Hello, my name's Helen Jones and I've put together this short video to show you how to send information to delegates both before your session starts for SP24 and also afterwards. Also how to create a quiz or survey if you want to send that to your delegates as well.
So the screen you're looking at now is the wonderful session room screen, and each session will have its own screen that will look exactly like this one. If you want to send some information to your delegates, please consolidate all of the information you want to send into two files. One to send before the conference and one to send after it has finished. Please name your files with the following convention. Use SP24S and then the 3-digit session number that you've been allocated. And name them also pre-session and post-session, so we know whether to send these items before or after the session has finished. Once you've consolidated your information and created the files, please save them into the attendee documents library we've already created within your session site. And also edit the properties of your files to include a message in the DocRead comments field that will be displayed to the user when they come to complete the task. This can be a nice personal message or anything you'd like to say to the delegates. Do the same for the post-session information file that you've saved in there as well. And also please just check that the title of the document is included, or that field is completed as well. Now, if you'd also like to create a quiz or survey or get some feedback from the delegates that go to your session, please also feel free to do this by using Doc Survey. Go to the site settings page and from the Doc Survey menu, choose Create New Survey. When you name the survey, please also again use the naming convention of SPS24S and then your 3-digit number. And put a short description in for the survey, and then select the relevant options that you want to use along with your quiz. Once you've ticked all the right boxes, go to the bottom of the page and click OK. That then takes you to the next set of screens, which will allow you to add each individual question to your survey one by one. Now, you can choose any of the question options that are shown in the list, but please note that if you do want to have this survey to be marked and to provide right/wrong answers, then you must use the Doc Survey options towards the bottom of the screen. Once you've chosen the survey question, please enter the available choices for the user in the box and also specify the index or the number of the answer that is correct. Keep using the next question button to add all of the questions that you wish to use until you've input them all, and then click Finish. Once you've collated all your information and all your files are ready, please email me at helen.jones@collaborist.com and let me know that they're all available. We're then going to send that information out to the delegates that have signed up and registered for your session using DocRead. The tasks will actually appear for the users in the session information window in the Session Tasks tab towards the bottom of the screen. And they'll both show up there again with that nice naming convention tying all of the information together. The users will also be able to see consolidation of all of the items they've been sent in the resources page of the SP24 website. And this is why we've asked you to use this naming convention that will group all of your specific items together. Okay, so that's it from me. I hope you found that useful, and I shall look forward to getting information from you very shortly. Please don't hesitate to get in touch with me if there's anything else I can help you with. Bye for now.
As I've already mentioned a couple of times, your session will make its way onto our session rooms via a Google Hangouts on air. So first things first, you're going to need a Google Plus account. In the unlikely event you haven't already got one of those, you can sign up at plus.google.com. Obviously they're free. Next, you're going to need some headphones and a microphone. Please don't use the embedded microphone on your laptop if you can help it. They're usually not very good, and the same goes for the cameras. If you can get hold of an HD camera, it's going to look that little bit more professional. In the Hangout itself on the day, you'll arrive probably half an hour beforehand. You should hopefully find 2 other people in the Hangout. One of them will be your SP24 producer, so one of us, and then your anchor for your session. So if you haven't got, if you aren't using earphones or headphones or a headset, it's a good chance you could create a feedback loop, and we don't want that on the day. So use headphones, use a headset. Earbuds are definitely a good way to go because they kind of look less obtrusive for someone who's watching you when you're doing pieces to camera. Oh, by the way, just in case you didn't know, and I've already mentioned them a couple of times already, your session is going to be introduced by a face from the SharePoint community. And if you can get a full list of those actually on the SP24 website if you're not sure who the anchors are for SP24. And as I say, earbuds and a USB microphone, like maybe this one. If you get yourself some earbuds and a microphone, that'll work good. A headset will also work as well. And it's probably a good idea to do some testing of your microphone and webcam in a hangout beforehand with a friend or a colleague if you can do. So next we're going to talk about composition on your webcam when you are doing those pieces to camera initially. in the Hangout. We probably mentioned some of these tips before for your backup recording, but it's probably worth mentioning them again in the context of Hangouts, just to make sure that your SP24 session looks as professional as possible. Backgrounds. Try and make sure your background is visually appealing but not too busy. A neutral backdrop for what appears in camera will just give that professional look. But providing you've got a nice, organised and clutter-free background, it's going to look presentable and professional. Make sure you've got the right camera angle for the recording. If your webcam's independent from the computer, it might be a little bit easier. If not, try and put the laptop or screen at the level of your eyes in a parallel plane. So place your webcam either or above eye level to avoid giving the viewers a direct view of the inside of your nose. That doesn't ever look good. And if you can, try and frame your shots to camera so the top of your nose is in line with the bottom third of the screen, as you can see on the picture. I'm not sure I'm doing that even myself, but there we go. A neutral backdrop for what appears in camera will also give you that professional look. And having good contrast between your face and your clothes in the background will help to keep your audience focused. So you might remember Steve Jobs' Apple key presentations when he was unveiling the new iPads and iPhones, etc. And you probably noticed he always wore a black shirt or a black t-shirt and generally had a dark background. And the reason for this is simple. It's the best way to highlight your face and keep people's attention focused on you. So, maybe something to consider for the day. Lighting is going to be very important. Make sure you're in a brightly lit room, and the key really to kind of good lighting when you're on a webcam on a Google Hangout is to get the lights, place the lights in front of you and at a slight angle if you can. Whatever you do, don't be brightly lit from behind. Look at the guy you can see in the photograph here. He's backlit, all the lights coming from behind him, and as a result, it's throwing off the webcam, you can barely recognise his features on his face. So if you've got a bright light behind you, maybe try and move your webcam around a bit so the bulb doesn't kind of shine from behind and look bright like the sun and create this kind of effect. And it's probably, if you really want to get fancy, the best way to do this is to set up a simple 3-point light setup using desk lamps or LED lights. And Wikipedia's got a great tutorial of how to set up a 3-point light set. But if nothing else, be sure you're not only lit from behind. We mentioned this already with the SP24 pre-recorded videos. The terms and conditions from our streaming provider YouTube mean that we cannot broadcast any kind of copyrighted video or audio. And they've got some quite clever detection software. So if anything's detected by this software, it can easily suspend our live streaming. So we don't want that, obviously. Please don't include copyrighted video or music in any of your sessions. And if anything is noticed when we're monitoring the sessions, we're doing the production on the day, we will probably have to discontinue the live session, unfortunately, for risk of endangering the conference. If you're not sure if there's something you're going to use and you're not 100% sure, or you want a bit of advice, drop Matthias an email, and we can take it from there. So you don't really need to know how to do this because we'll be doing this and we'll be creating the Hangouts on the day. But it's probably a good way to let you go away and test it with your friends and colleagues, with your mics and your webcams, etc., and your lighting setup. So here we go. This is how we would set up a Google Hangout on air.
So we're going to go to plus.google.com and click on Hangouts. And then we'll click on Start a Hangout on Air. We'll give our Hangout a title and a description. And then we can decide if we want to schedule that immediately, in which case we click on the Now button. Or we can look at scheduling it later and pick a time and a date and a duration. We can also decide who the audience are, who can see the stream. We can change that and set that to the SP24 team. So they were the ones that we notified about the live stream on YouTube. We'll click share, and that's now created an event on our plus.google.com page, or Google Plus should I say. And there we see it. There's our test hangout we've just created. Our test hangout on air, should I say. We could incorporate a trailer if we wanted, but we're just going to start the hangout now. There we go. The hangout's now loading, and there I am. We click on the settings at the top of the screen. We can select which webcams, microphone, and the output we want. And by clicking on each one of those, we can select, depending on what we've got installed on our computer. So I'm using a separate webcam there, and then I can now share. I can now invite people into the Hangout. So I'm going to invite in one of my test accounts that I've got here running on an iPad. So I'll just put in the name, the email address there, or the Google Plus name, and then it has recognized me, and I can click invite. And that's going to go away now and notify me on Google Plus or my Hangouts app that I'm trying to be added into it. And there I am. There I've popped up, and as you can see, another view, this little waving to the camera, and that's running on my iPad on a separate account. And I can flick between, and as I do that, that will affect if once we press the start broadcast button. So we click OK now. That's going to now start broadcasting my pretty face onto a YouTube Live. And if we go to our event page again, just by selecting events, what we're going to see is that there's the event. As you can see, SP24 Test Hangout. We just click on that now, and there we go. There's the live stream. We can start watching that streaming now live to YouTube.
Okay, so a bit of information about how and when you should join your Hangout on the day and what to expect. The full SP24 schedule is available on the website at sp24conf.com. I hope you already all know when your sessions are and when in GMT and what that equates to in your local time. The conference schedule online should give you your session at your local time. The technology works properly. If you've got any queries or worries about when your session starts, when you need to be, again, ping myself, ping Matthias an email, and we can make sure that we've got the right time. It's sometimes tricky kind of understanding the difference between the time zones, particularly when time zones change. We've just moved to British Summer Time, for instance. So any queries, just ping us an email and we can sort that out. When you join the Hangout, you should find 3 people in the room: the speaker, obviously yourself, the anchor, which is the well-known SharePoint community face that'll be introducing you and asking questions at the end of your session that people have posted in the chat rooms, and hopefully ahead of time they'll get a chance to contact you and have a bit of a chat and a bit of a test of Hangouts, just to get to know you a little bit better if they don't already know you. Obviously, probably some of you know each other already, so that'll be good. And then there'll also be the producer in the room and in the Hangout, and that'll be one of us from the SP24
I should also
team.
point out you will receive an email detailing the time you need to join your Hangout, and that'll also have a link to your Hangout. So it's joining the Hangout just as simple as clicking the link
Make sure that obviously that you've got your Google account to hand and your password. But other than that, that'll take you straight into the Hangout, and hopefully your producer and anchor should be in there waiting for you. Okay, so this is an important one. How to share your screen and unshare it for your demos, to show slides, etc., etc. Okay, so we're in a Hangout. We click the screen share button, which is the green button second from the top on the left-hand side. That's going to pop open a window which will show all our desktops and applications we've got running. We can select a desktop or an application, click Start Screen Share, and away we go. That desktop or that application is now streamed live on YouTube and on the Hangout. Push the button again and we go back to streaming our live webcam. As I've already mentioned, we will have a producer in the room, and he will be responsible for putting the right people on the stage, for muting your audio when it needs to be muted, for putting you live when it needs to go live, and for making sure that your mic is up and at the right level, and the same for the anchors. So really, you don't need to worry about this, but just in case, here is how you hit that. This is how you mute your audio. At the top of the screen, you'll see the mute button. Click that to mute the microphone. Click it again to unmute it. Click it again to mute the microphone. You can see at the bottom right hand corner, it shows over you that your microphone is now muted. Click it again and it removes that. Very simple. Again, this is something you should not have to worry about on the day, but this is how you stop the camera from broadcasting on Google Hangouts on air. Again, this is just as simple as going up to the top of the screen, clicking the turn camera off button. Our camera's now no longer broadcasting. We go back to the top of the screen, click it again, and our webcam starts broadcasting again. Okay, so what I'm going to talk to you about now is setting up your lower third in Hangouts. What's the lower third, you might ask? Well, it's the bar at the bottom of the screen that'll have your name and Twitter ID, etc. on it. And we'd rather like to keep these fairly consistent across the entire conference. So I'm going to show you how to set it up so that everybody's lower third looks exactly the same. And this is one of the things on the day we can talk you through if you're having difficulty setting it up before the session. But just to let you know how to do it beforehand, and maybe you can have a little bit of a practice before the day, just to make things a little bit easier. So if we click the Hangout toolbox on the left hand side, we'll now see that on the right hand side a toolbox called the Hangout toolbox is opened. We put our name and Twitter ID in the first two columns, and we pick the colour selector, pull that right to the top right hand corner, you'll get colour #ED with 4 zeros, and that'll choose a red. And then if we go up to the top right hand side, we can turn the lower third on, and then you'll see that the lower third has appeared at the bottom of the screen. Don't worry the fact that it's the wrong way around, that's correct. We can always flick the image and you can see what everyone else is seeing, but it should be back to front, so we'll just put that back. Your image logo, by the way, comes from your Google Plus account, so don't forget to update that. Many thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully you'll also make one of the training sessions that we've organised to take you through Hangouts, and make sure you're going to be comfortable on the day, and make sure we have a great conference. Thanks for your time. Bye now.